And we are live with the first game of the day, featuring Dcypher facing off against VWS in the first match of the finals of, well, the Challengers Cup here. This is the semifinal, and I am Soza, joined here by Shadowboy. No, not Shadowboy. Verbal, how you doing?
You want to try that one again? Yes, hello
I got
there,
you
how are we all doing today? It got me eventually, but yes, for those of you wondering, who the hell are Dcypher Esports? That is Team Pikachu's. They were picked up, just like VWS used to be Team Moxie's. So this is essentially Team Pikachu, Team Angry Pikachu's versus Team Moxie's, or as it is now, Dcypher versus VWS Gaming.
Both teams had a pretty long road to get here. I mean, everybody in EU so far has. There's been some incredibly intense games all throughout here, and these two semifinals are pretty much promising to go to the full best of 5, I feel. And the grand finals are going to be even more intense depending on who wins over there. But for now, we're focused on what's going on here as Dcypher instantly locked in Janus.
Yeah, looking at the bans here quickly while the first round of picks come in, VWS want zero kind of healing shenanigans coming out of Dcypher. They will be eliminating both the Hell and the Afro. Dcypher taking a different route, getting rid of one of the arguably best carries in the game right now, and Jin Shen, who's always an annoying force to be reckoned with in team fights, and of course in the solo lane. Oh, he can be. We have seen him in support. We saw that yesterday in the NA as well, so I want to see how this goes. But looking at picks, Athena and Zhong going to be locked in by VWS. We haven't seen that much Athena. She didn't have any. She only had a little bit of a nerf to the cooldown on her ultimate. Then she just kind of fell off the map.
Even then, everything leading up to this, we've seen plenty of Athena, especially in EU in general, and she's always going to be that potent god, even with that cooldown reduction nerf, like you said. The taunt is still one of the most potent abilities in the game, and she still has that cross-map pressure. So, no surprise to see VWS go straight for her, and Zhong has been one of the unkillable god mid laners we've seen show up in the recent sustain-focused meta.
We are going to be seeing, speaking of sustain, Sylvanus will be locked in for Dcypher, followed by the Serqet. So if VWS pull out any more kind of healers alongside Zhong, Serqet, of course, will be able to shut down any kind of exorcism healing from Zhong. And then Batz was responded with as we move into the next stage of bans. So Batz, Athena, Zhong, that's a lot of both hard CC and soft CC coming into this, as we're seeing Freya being eliminated. So a lot of magical carries right now are actually mainly two very strong magical carries right now being eliminated.
And so this is VW showing they want to fight. They want to be getting in the faces of Dcypher Esports here, and they want to just bring the party to them. Hunbat, one of the best team fighting junglers out there. Fear no evil, an incredible tool for zoning and controlling areas of these fights, and absolutely splitting people apart here. Is this one of the better pick tools that a jungler can bring to the table, aside from maybe a Thor ultimate and Anvil of Dawn? All in all, I really like Dcypher's Esports Cup as well, but VWS have a lot of ways to get into them and then bring a hell of a fight to them.
Of course, if they are fighting in the jungle, we saw yesterday a lot of the Janus shenanigans, the Janus drive-bys, that kind of thing with the portals, and now that they have him, that's going to help a lot. Although, with the Cupid on the field, you saw Dcypher get rid of the Nox. Nox, of course, can be a decent way of getting rid of the Janus because of her AoE silences, but Cupid, his ultimate will work as well in terms of slowing down the mobility of Janus and Serqet. His ultimate, for those of you that don't know, applies AoE cripple and then explodes, mesmerizing or stunning, depending on how many stacks of his passive he has.
And it's going to be absolutely devastating considering the comp that VWS is running right now. This is going to prevent the portal and, well, any kind of escape from Serqet right here. But now VWS, they've got their 4 picks set up. Dcypher looking for the last 2 lock-ins here. VWS and Chaac hovered on. Looks like they're going to be locked in fairly instantaneously here. So a lot of damage in the VWS. Will the curse subside? And Chaac, a god who we've thought might show up soon. And here we go. The big man himself showing up big.
Well, if anything, F-Dot and Cret are going to be chuffed with the Chaac pick. But yes, the Chaac pick, he's most likely going to be going solo. Chaac versus the Fenrir. Fenrir being picked up here by VWS. That's most likely going to be solo. I doubt they're going to run the Hunbat solo, although you never know. They might have been, doing some boot camping or some scrims and might have figured out something, but it's most likely going to be the Fenrir solo. I want to see how this matchup goes, because both of them have healing, although Chaac has the edge purely because his is an AoE slow on top of that, and that can really mess with the Fenrir trying to get away. He'd have to burn his skills that he used for wave clear instead for trying to get away. It's kind of like that same dynamic with going against the Bellona where you have to try and stop the bludgeon. If you can force Fenrir to burn Unchained, to get away from you instead of wave clear, that's a huge win in lane. Let's see if Chaac can actually pull that off.
At the same time, though, Ducky's going to have a fairly solid matchup here as well. He's got a lot of ways to avoid the serious all-ins that Wlfy can really pull out. These are going to be the two solo lane matchups here. The leap can be used to great effect to avoid the Chaac all-in with his ultimate here, and it's going to be a hard-fought battle, but I don't think, outside of jungler intervention here, that we're going to actually see that many kills despite the matchup here, unless Ducky finds a really early engagement onto Wlfy, I feel.
Yeah, but one thing that I would like to point out here, we are going to be seeing Sylvanus with the knockups. That kind of raw knockup pressure, of course, bear in mind that there is the banish from Sylvanus, and the banish from the Janus, and then Chaac, if he can get the supercharge on the Storm Call, he has the opportunity to knock up as well. That amount of knockup can really be a pain in the backside for gods like Cupid, like Batz, because that slight delay can mess up if they're trying to channel something, or, you know, as many times as we've seen Geb versus Cupid matchup, Cupid tries to dash away, Geb pops the knockup, and now the dash is stopped. And more importantly, that AoE field of speed boost that you get behind the Cupid when he flutters away is shortened significantly. So if we see Dcypher play their cards right and time things correctly, or even just get a lucky shot, VWS is going to have some issues in terms of getting in, although not too much considering how much raw initiate they have.
Well, unfortunately, we've got a spectator countdown to wait on, so we'll be right back. Don't go in. This is the Challengers Cup, brought to you by Tier Monster and hi-rez Studios. Thanks for coming out today, guys. We'll see you in a few minutes. And we are live with the action featuring VWS Gaming facing up against Dcypher Esports. Dcypher in the blue, VWS in the red. Both sides going for the early ward game here. Dcypher getting 2-1 on each side here, and VWS getting the 1 on the backside of that heartbeat camp, though.
So yeah, they exchanged 1 or 2 love taps, but nothing really too significant. I doubt we're going to see any invasion shenanigans early on. We see less of that in EU than we do in NA. Well, especially if yesterday was anything to be considered. You know, I imagine we won't be seeing triple teleport coming out from either team.
But also, it's super early into the day. I mean, this is the first game of the first series we'll be seeing today. There's another series going in the semifinal, and there's one more really big series that goes on after this. Teams are now likely to hold on to a lot of their pocket strategies that we're going to be seeing, that we saw a lot of yesterday in the grand finals. And I think that unless we get down to the wire in these semifinal games, we're going to see a lot of standard fare for the first few games.
Yeah. I imagine, at least for now, a lot of the big fighting is gonna be happening around the mid-harpies. The duo lane for both sides of the board can be fairly safe. You can be fairly aggressive with pulls and taunts respectively, but both are gonna be fairly cautious, because they both have heals. You know, we're already seeing a little bit of trading of damage over at the mid-harpies, although the Zhong doing a decent bit of tick damage. That's gonna force 1 or 2 health pots to be burned.
And over quite a bit here. Unfortunately, yeah, nobody really fighting across the board now. There's still a bit of poke back and forth here. It looks like Dcypher Esports want to try to peel back a bit, maybe look for something here, but all in all, like I said, mid lane will be where the action happens here, but Pikachu, he's in a lot of here. FleuryQ finds a way in for now, but the overhand smack gonna come close to the kill here. Darzer, 1 hit, 1 kill. Wlfy secures first blood off the back of a fairly good series of engagements, finally leading to the blood.
And over in the duo lane, though, BigManTingz is taking a lot of poke. He's going to fall to JacobHL with the help of Zigox. And now over in the solo lane, Ducky and JustLofes squaring off on the Fenrir and Chaac respectively.
Yeah, right now it's a square off in this lane, though. I mean, like I said, Ducky and Wlfy are going to heal up against each other quite effectively here. I don't think Wlfy really has the all-in they need in order to push the other one down, especially that Chaac has reached that point where he can just sustain on through most of the damage. And once Ducky gets that roar going, especially if he can just leap over the axes like that, he's going to be a hard wolf to crack.
Yeah. Now, looking at the builds, nothing really too dramatic. We do see blue stun coming out from both solo laners. That's going to give them, you know, a decent amount of mana. You know, 100 mana, it's nothing to sniff at. And, of course, that beautiful passive to have. That's going to help the Chaac more than it will the Fenrir, purely because of the way that matchup works with the thrown axe. So the onus is going to be more on Ducky to not get hit by the initial axe, because it's going to be a lot harder to avoid the torrent, because he needs to be in the wave where the axe is to actually clear minions who doesn't have any ranged poke. So that is going to be a bit of a problem really early on here.
But even like you said, Ducky just isn't quite taking the damage here. I mean, if you look at the Axe Toss, did hit him right there, chunked him down a little bit, but at this point the health regen is going to clear out most of it. Wlfy is going to be paying more attention to the wave here with his Axe Toss, I feel, even with the Torrent as well. And Ducky, with the Roar, we've heard the jokes, we've heard the stories about Fenrir just instantly going back into full health from his lifesteal, and that's really just going to get him to this lane right here. So for now, I think solo lane will just remain fairly calm. Especially with FleuryQ and Darzer and Pikachu keeping most of their attention towards the mid lane against each other right now.
Yep, little bit of engagement over the left side. Ultimates are popped. Bushyyy going a bit low, but does have the ability to jump out of there. He's also got a nice pull, though, from BigManTingz. He's going to force Zigox to retreat, but not before taking one smack from the tower. Over at the middle of the map, we do see there was some squaring off around the mid-harpies, but unfortunately, Dcypher going to have to relinquish the left side one. Wlfy going to be able to sneak the XP over the side of the wall. Right side is going to be coming up in around 30 seconds or so. So let's see how contention goes over there.
For VWS at this point. I mean, VWS have a lot of the engagement here. They've got too much of an early skirmish fight here, especially with Wlfy having that full stack of Ghost Bag here. He's got his ultimate online, and if Fear No Evil even connects here, Pikachu and Darzer are going to be in for a world of hurt. And
Solo.
Wlfy is actually the first one to find the kill here on the Ducky there. A great pickup there, but unfortunately his mid lane is going to just continuously be on the losing end of these trades. Can we see the solo lane carry come out of Wlfy this time around?
Well, turns out solo lane gonna be not that calm, and there's that ranged bonus that Chaac has coming into effect to be able to just throw the axe constantly. Chunk damage, plus bluestone is difficult for a melee-only character like Fenrir. I mean, he has the lifesteal, so he can get around it, and he has pots as well, although Ducky hasn't actually put a point in that, so he's mainly going to be relying on the pots that he's bought to actually heal him up there, and looks like it wasn't enough.
It's not really going to be enough for a certain point here, and Lopez is able to poke him down slowly but surely from the looks of it here. But now, Ducky's going to get back to his farm game. Not too much of an advantage to develop for Lopez, the fact that as he did end up backing off after clearing out that wave, and now Ducky just simply moving about, sharing a bit of XP with FleuryQ here to not fall even further behind. So, all in all, VWS doing a solid job actually keeping Ducky fine in terms of XP and gold right now. I mean, we're going to see Lopez with a slight XP advantage here, for sure, most likely. But at the same time, Ducky is recovering quite well with VWS here.
Yeah, this is what it is early goings. There is the golden XP favor for VWS, 2.60 XP, 1.2k gold in favor of VWS, but at the same time, that isn't really too dramatic. It's only 2,000 gold. That could be made up easily with 1 or 2 picks and a solid bit of farming. Maybe even a cheeky early gold Fury if they can manage to get at least a 4-man wipe.
I mean, like I said, we're still at the 1k gold mark, so this is very much just one wipe, one gold Fury territory, one great series of farms here, or a great series of kills, but mostly I think we're going to see a plainly calm farm
solo
game
lane.
here.
Ducky is very low here. The rotation from Pikachu was enough to secure the kill.
Ducky getting just camping, see him. Well, can't believe he's in a lot of trouble here. I mean, Wlfy has killed him off pretty easily. Now Pikachu, they want to just salt the wound here and push him down even further, and that's the way to go about this.
Yeah, you know, if they have a slight advantage, really knock on that door, because the quicker that a solo laner can push down a tower, that gives them the free pass to roam around the map. And a Chaac roaming is a scary thing. But it looks over in the duo lane here, mass rotation coming out by VWS onto BigManTingz and Bushyyy. BigManTingz taking the brunt of these ultimates. He is going to be the first to fall in this fight. The rest of Dcypher do come around, though.
Yeah, the rotation will come on through here. FleuryQ sitting incredibly low. Zigox to stick back and stick safe. But there's so much damage to the back line from Wlfy here. He's camping on everybody here. Now JacobHL going for the fight. Finds the taunt. Darzer in trouble. Darzer gonna bleed out thanks to the card right there. As Wlfy staying in deep. Takes another one down for Pikachu right there. A double for Wlfy. 1 exorcism, 1 kill later. VWS walking out big on this fight.
Yeah, that's going to be a really nice profit for them. That's going to be a 2-for-1 trade. And that's also going to give them a decent amount of gold as well. You notice how there was a slight spike up in their favor when with that first kill and rotation. Then it goes down again, and now it's back up again. This game, for all intents and purposes, is fairly close. But look at the ward coverage around this Gold Fury side right now, Soza. Just, essentially just mass CCTV at this point.
Yeah, there's a lot of heavy vision going on in this EU meta right now. As yesterday and it's going to be a lot about fight EU. There's a lot of fighting right now, but so far they seem to be more concerned with, okay, vision, objective, find the farm after the farm. And honestly, that's what at the end of the day, when VWS ended up winning that engagement 2-1, they weren't able to fully pull out a win there, as Cypher actually closed the gold lead slightly here, but Wlfy caught out fairly bad. He may not get out here, but he's got an Athena joining the party soon enough. He's going to beat as best he can, have the Athena keeping the damage reduction. Bushyyy looking for his way in. If he finds a bounce Wlfy's sure as hell gonna go down. And what a bounce! Bushy finds the 1 in a million and takes the shot.
And meanwhile, this entire time, over in the solo lane, Ducky being forced under tower, Lofes has a 2-level advantage over his opponent here. That is gonna really suck, because ideally with Fenrir you get ahead early on. Back over to the mid, people are squaring off, although BigManTingz is around the side. They don't know he's there. It looks like Jacob has just spotted him. He actually walked over the ward. And unfortunately that ward was there, otherwise he probably could have made some plays. He did have Blink, and he did have the pull, but he didn't have ult up at the time.
He has a good some BigManTingz. Dcypher Esports were able to actually get the better end of the pressure off of it. They got the better ward coverage out of it, and despite the fact they went down, they were able to secure objectives around the map, whereas kills at this point aren't worth that much, unfortunately, unless you can secure what comes afterwards, or as Efton would say, the stuff after the stuff, in honor of Chaac.
Yeah. And getting those little advantages after you gain another little advantage is really, really important
And
as you get towards more level.
whereas the enemy team secures them, even if you win the fight kill-wise, you're going to come out either even or behind on gold, as now Dcypher Esports bring things back to a 200 differential here, as VWS, well, both sides are within just reaches of each other here. There's a 32 XP difference here, as a two-man taunt comes right into the fields of love, pushing up in the air, but BigManTingz getting absolutely massacred here. FleuryQ the one to find the kill. Now the rest of the dance will break out here, and this will be a deadly, deadly dance, but for now, VWS and Dcypher on the same page here. They're both stepping back just a little bit, taking the mid games, taking the farm, and taking the objectives here, as Wlfy not going to be started just yet. They're just not quite confident in it with a few more members around, and they're going to take a safe play here.
That's going to be a little harder to do. They're probably just going to want to look for that ward coverage. It would be very risky to start a Wlfy this early, considering a lot of Dcypher are up, and more importantly, within striking distance quickly enough to where it would be a big problem. Say if someone starts tanking the Wlfy, no one's really tanky enough to sustain that kind of damage for a decent amount of time, around 10 minutes into the game. You know, people have just started hitting double digits, and, you know, second items are being built. So, if they did go for it, Dcypher could come around, but although it looks like Dcypher will be going for the Wlfy, although VWS do smell it. Let's see if they can respond.
Yeah, they smell it, and they're definitely moving in for it here. We've got everybody in position on both sides. The full fight might break out here, but JacobHL waiting around the corner, finds a two-man taunt, but no major follow-up just yet here. But now, we see Chaac going up, right into a three-man Wrath of Terror. It's a master on the side of VWS Gaming. Dcypher running wild here. Bushy going to find the second kill of the fight on a Ducky here, but the health bars falling low on several key members of Dcypher right now. And VWS, they've got a lot of damage in the pocket to the Zigox. He's out of meth. FleuryQ looking to lay down the law, but he can't quite finish things off.
Nice,
So he fires the Fear No Evil. Zigox finds the kill, and a turnaround from FleuryQ here. As now VWS, they're the ones on the hunt here. FleuryQ, he finds his double. Over the wall went Darzer, but Darzer needs to get out of dodge as soon as he can, or else he might meet his end at the hands of FleuryQ here. And just like that, VWS gonna turn things around despite the initial slaughter commenced by Dcypher Esports. And now things are far from over here as Athena joins the party. Cypher, they know the Wlfy is in danger and they want to contest, but they've got a Wlfy to walk through, a major wall to climb. I don't think they can make it over towards the Wlfy.
Yeah, that's going to be very hard to do. He's got the wall up online, and the Shoes of the Magi, so he's going to be a very intimidating presence. VWS will take Wlfy relatively uncontested. There wasn't a lot Dcypher could do. Losing 3 people to that engagement, or rather counter-engagement, and the rest of the teammates that were alive from that being relatively low health, going in there would have been suicide. So that is going to be going the way of VWS. That's going to shove down the golden XP in their favor once again. And just look at the graph that tells the story of this game. Back and forth, there hasn't been like a steady decline in anyone's favor.
I mean, there was a little bit earlier on here, but Dcypher Esports started fighting back incredibly strong, and that fight actually started off incredibly well for them. 2 really solid kills. Their health bars low on 3 members, but were fine otherwise. However, VWS Gaming, they found their way in, and despite losing the initial stage of that fight, were able to fight back, claw back, and get a double kill onto their jungler here, FleuryQ, as well as a quick response from Wlfy. So all in all, a fairly solidly played fight from VWS pulls out a Wlfy, and the first major advantage of the game so far. And in the series like this, these first advantages are one of the more important steps to actually taking the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's all about the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're looking into... Oh, never mind, I'll talk about it in a second. Wlfy getting hit with the last breath, so he's not going to be able to heal out anything through time and space used to allow his team ability if need be. Unfortunately for Bushy, that triple bounce didn't find home on any targets. The left side mid-hubbies will be taken. But as I was trying to say, we are seeing ore items now being built by both hunters, specifically the Soul Eater. So not only is it going to give them that 300 health, which is more than enough to keep them alive during a fight, you are losing a little... Oh, over the left side, though, BigManTingz. Oh no, he's very low from that hi-rez ultimate.
He's got one more to go. Zigox is going to take him down though in the end, but BigManTingz, only one to fall here. Bushy instead finds JacobHL support for support. Now Zigox out of position, but he's got the dash. Pikachu's got a dash of his own as well. Finds the taunt. Cobra's kid doing work here, but the heart bomb turnaround. Wlfy joining the party, joining the zone. There's a lot of low health on the side of Dcypher Esports, and they've got to be on the run right now as VWS. They're hunting them down. They might look for the dive here as FleuryQ. He's walking around the backside. They're going to walk right into him, though. He's got the damage, the fear no evil, but Bushy's up in the air. However, Bushy gets caught on the fall right there, and Darzer, the one to fall to FleuryQ as well. 2 kills for 1, once again, in favor of VWS, and they're always finding ways to take these advantages here.
Yeah, and speaking of advantages, unfortunately for them, over in the solo lane, Ducky hasn't really been able to assist too much in these fights, if not at all, because his tower is consistently being pushed by JustLofes. Lofes is actually going to be teleporting here, going over to the duo lane, teleporting around the flank of Wlfy and Zigox. Let's see if he can find some kills here. Throws down the X. The Rain Dance is used to slow down Wlfy, but the Athena ultimate will be used to stave him off.
There's enough rotational power on the side of VWS to actually get wherever they want, even whenever these fights break out. So Dcypher Esports, despite starting these fights as 2v1s, 2v2s, understand they're quickly going to devolve into a 2v3 or a 3v4. It's just one of the dangers of dealing with an Athena.
Yeah. And with that Athena, yes, the cooldown was nerfed, but really she is still incredibly powerful if applied correctly. She's not the kind of Guardian that can carry a game on their own with certain CC and, like, say, you know, a Ymir, for example. Speaking of which, nice CC onto BigManTingz, forcing him back. FleuryQ gonna get rooted out there by the oh, hang on. Pikachu gonna use the taunt, but unfortunately not able to capitalize with a Deathbane triple hit, only got the single hit. But yeah, as I was saying, the Athena can do incredible work, but does require setup, essentially. Requires a lot of setup to get right.
Sure, requires a lot of setup, but also Athena is one of the gods of setup for teams as well. Taunt being one of the most potent CC tools in the game. And, I mean, when you say that Athena isn't one of these big CC carries like a lot of other Guardians, I have to wholly disagree here, as Taunt is one of the best, if not the best, Guardian crowd control in the game that I feel.
To an extent.
It's such an effective setup as well.
That is true, but what I meant by that was, for example, with a Ymir, he could see off an entire area by himself. Yes, Athena has that taunt, but at the same time, the team has to be right there to follow up, because you don't have, say, the extra damage of a Cupid or a Ymir. But at this point in challenges, most teams are going to be right on point with their communication, so an Athena pick is really good for this kind of situation.
And it's really good, and it will just need to show that here is JacobHL keeping an eye on everything. Got that taunt ready to appeal as well, so VWS trying to hold on to this lead as best they can here, and they want to exasperate it slowly but surely here. Dcypher Esports not quite out of the water yet, so they've got plenty of ways to swim. Let's see if they can tread and hold up for now until finally they reach a nice, calm current to swim through.
Hopefully the situation's rather fluid right now over in the duo lane, as Bushy going to be forced to retreat after taking a lot of poke from Zigox. Now, that poke from the Heart Bomb is going to be very hard to deal with, although, moving as later and later on, of course, the Mark of the Golden Crow is going to come online, and as hi-rez is just one of those hunters that you really cannot risk dueling 101, one-on-one, because Mark of the Golden Crow gives him so many benefits in a one-on-one duel.
And I mean, the penetration alone is just enough to be a massive increase for hi-rez in these 1v1 box fights.
Yeah, you know, the penetration, there's also the vision. If they try and retreat your Nug, you're gonna know where they are. And of course, the extra damage on not only attacks, but miss it on the abilities as well. Not only is it just gonna be, oh hey, I get to hit you for more, if Bushy gets another one of those really nice triple bounces, he's gonna be doing potentially enough to finish someone if they're already, you know, half health down.
I mean, I'm still feeling the one that hit Wlfy earlier and killed him. Like, yeah. I'm still feeling that one quite painfully, all the way over here in North America, but I'll just point out other things we're feeling here is now Wlfy getting started up here from VWS. It looks like Cypher, they look to be aware of it, but they're responding fairly slowly here. Wlfy burning out quite quickly with the teleports coming out through. Darzer in the zone as well. Ducky leaps on over. but the gold here, it's sitting low. Somebody's got to kill a quick hero. VWS get it. Now the AoE zones have been set up, but VWS, they're so tanky at this point. Wlfy gets the silences off right now, but Ducky and JacobHL, they're sitting below half. Ducky needs to escape, but here we go. Fields of Love buying time, but the axe has no love here. Bushyyy finds the kill instead. Let's see the rainbow begin to go out here in several zones. A taunt will keep Wlfy safe for now. JustLofes, he tried to get the torrent off, but it's not going to be enough to keep him alive. And Dcypher, unfortunately, getting absolutely bullied away from this one. They lose the Gold Fury and lose the ensuing fight here. A nice series of roots will buy an escape for Dcypher Esports here, but it's just enough to get away, not enough to bring back the dead.
So, 3-for-1 trade off that during that fight. VWS did hold the Gold Fury. They do manage to get it. And then on top of that, they were engaged on, but they managed to get a really, really nice 2-man taunt, and then multiple AoE ultimates on top of that. They only lose Ducky, but they gained 3 members instead. That is absolutely worth it. Dcypher have really got to be feeling that. That's going to suck for morale.
It's going to hurt for now, but, well, things are still fairly solid for them. They will scale up decently in the late game, but VWS also going to be horrors of their own. Zhong is such a difficult god to take down, and as things progress, it's just going to get harder and harder. Dcypher Esports, anyone with something here as the taunt comes down. JacobHL and Pikachu just going to go toe-to-toe here as Wlfy sets the balance apart here. Going to absolutely obliterate the Pikachu right there. There was almost no chance once everything started railing on in.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the beats were on about a 3-second left on their cooldown, so he wasn't able to get away just in time. So slow on top of the taunt, it was very hard for Pikachu to get away, even trying to use the ambush, and eventually he does fall. And that slow from Wlfy, combined with the dot, has really been helping throughout all stages of the game. We saw early on him putting that to very good use, just poking Darzer and Pikachu constantly in around the mid and the back camp fights. So it looks like
the way they win these fights here is, yeah, once again, engagement breaks out onto this tower here, a huge dive. JacobHL secures the kill, but now JacobHL might pay with his life. Wlfy silences and obliterates him with the last of his health bar here. Bushyyy and Wlfy grouped up though, right against the Wlfy. Ducky leaps on in, finishing the kill with that leap. Finds another one here as FleuryQ going in deep, but Wlfy's the one to burn him out with the car. Things are getting dire now as Dcypher getting chased under their own tier 2 here. We will see FleuryQ just barely survive the poison. Half health is barely at this point, so he'll be fine and dandy at the end of the day here. Is now VWS gonna be pressing on through. The tower is incredibly low. It's gonna fall in the end, and Dcypher can't really do too much here. VWS taking it up to 11 now that things have reached a small goal lead in their favor before. Now they've exacerbated it into a massive one of 8,000.
Yeah, that kind of lead is something that Dcypher is going to have to look at and go, okay, how do we get this back? One of the best ways they can do it is exploit their tower push. You know, they have taken first tower of the... Well, yes, first tower of the game did go their way. They took it over in the solo lane. JustLofes has been able to push that area, and now that that hole is opened up, tier 1 in the mid is fairly low as well. Although their towers have been pushed to Phoenix, if they can gain enough of a front line as to where they can stand there and just start chipping away, Bushyyy has more than enough damage to be able to take that down right now, with at least minion support, if not help from his Sylvanus as well.
So we're just the first thing to look for on the side of Dcypher Esports is to start accomplishing this win condition where let's get tankier and start pushing forward. Who should we look for on this one? Wlfy caught out a bit here, but he should be fine and dandy. Actually, now he's tossed back into 4. He's got an Athena from the party, but he's so massively tanky right now that they're gonna have to find some way to overcome that Zhong mountain right there. But like I said, where do you look for on the side of Dcypher Esports to start pulling off that win condition?
Well, the win condition is going to come primarily from their mobility, from Darzer, less so tankiness, and more the healing. They have so much healing between BigManTingz and Choco. It looks like re-engagement onto JustLofes and Bushyyy here. Multiple beads going to be burned. Bushyyy be forced back. Stone Cold was deployed, going to silence out 3 members of VWS. Portal is deployed, allowing Darzer to get away here. Only a little bit of a skirmish. No one really wants to dedicate themselves to the fight just quite yet. VWS do have ward coverage, so they know where Dcypher is. So if they want to, they could go for a re-engage here, over, and looks like they will.
Yeah, they're going to find the re-engage here, but BigManTingz starts things off fairly solidly here, but there's just not enough to lock them down inside of Dcypher. VWS running rampant. Wlfy's in trouble, gonna get slaughtered by FleuryQ right there. It's the heart bomb detonated. Wlfy pushes one forward to the back here. BigManTingz, only man left standing on the backside is the Pikachu. Ran out the opposite side here. They're just gonna instead ignore him. Push on through. FleuryQ, the only one hunting Pikachu right here, as Ducky moves to cut him off. Phoenix exposed, and Phoenix soon to fall as Pikachu simply giving them the runaround, while the rest of the team has their eyes hungrily set on this bird, hungrily set on the objectives, as FleuryQ goes unstoppable, the first DSI to the game at 23 minutes in, and the first Phoenix to fall. Things now looking incredibly dire for Dcypher Esports.
That's gonna be at least a Wlfy. Maybe the Fire Giant. Admittedly, Dcypher will have Darzer up in 5 seconds, so if he's feeling really cheeky, he could go for a through time and space.
It's
That's
gonna take
in
a
3
miracle
seconds.
here. It's
Yeah.
gonna take a miracle
Although we have
from
seen it,
Dcypher.
you know, referencing the SPL, we have seen Lazes do similar things, stealing Fire Giants, so that is entirely possible.
Yeah, but
like he's gonna
VWS,
pop
they're
it.
taking the safe option here.
Yeah.
It was a good idea to pop the open there. Well, VWS, they had the chance to let over some. Instead, VWS is taking the safe option here. They're not going to go straight for the Fire Giant. They're just going to back off. And they would have liked to see a Goldfree come out here, but they're just going to play it safe, and they don't want to give this 10k gold lead, as we saw some massive throws yesterday. Nobody wants to have this happen to them here, especially in the first game.
Yeah, and running it back to a point that I was talking about earlier, the ward coverage right now, VWS are absolutely lathering it on around this right side of the jungle near the orange buff. They want to make sure that Dcypher don't get in without them knowing. They are going to be going for Wlfy though. Dcypher will most likely pick it up unless Wlfy can... Yeah, Wlfy,
This is not
he is
the
coming
trade
in to see if
they
he can find it. This
Wlfy.
isn't going to work out for them if they're not... If they don't know Fire Giant is happening.
Yeah, VWS get the gold for you too, as Wlfy was the one to steal it.
Oh
This
my.
is a horrible series of events for Dcypher Esports right here. Wlfy gets the gold fury, Wlfy buys time, and, well, now VWS get the Fires on the opposite side of the map here as Wlfy going toe-to-toe with everybody on Dcypher right here. VWS looking so dominant right now as Dcypher Esports need to go on a full retreat. They cannot afford to fight enemy right now, and they're going to lose towers across the board right here, especially in the solo side of the map. The first one falls. They've got Fire Giant and a fully buffed up Zigox here as the rest of the team enters from stage left. Thing now going from bad to worse here as the gold lead goes from, well, 10,000 to 15,000 here. Now, ball is in Dcypher's court. This is the game of VWS to lose here, and they're pushing on forward, trying to find the win. A 4-man Razatera sets things up, but, well, VWS, they're too far spread out and too far tanky right now for Dcypher to do anything, and they're just going to leverage the siege power, leverage this Fire Jack, shove down the Phoenix, and look for the aftermath here as Wlfy, he's going in for the action if he can find it, but Ducky's the one instead to walk in with the leap. Instead, Wlfy simply clears out his Phoenix. Now FleuryQ off on the side, getting minion waves shoved in from all sides here. 2 waves of minions about to start marauding that Titan here, and now VWS simply look to choke the rest of the life out of Dcypher here.
Dcypher really is now losing, instead of just these occasional fights, it's now a war of attrition, and they're on the back end of it. Because they weren't able to get those early fights, they did go badly in the favor. And even when they tried to go for a trade of Fire Giant for Fury, that gets stolen as well. Dcypher is just going to have to re-rally for the next game here, because this fight is going heavily in BWS's favor, as we're seeing multiple ultimates being deployed. Ragnarok's, Fields of Love, Fear No Evils are being used through time and space. Unfortunately, he's not going to find anyone. The bounce is not going to find Wlfy. And now comes the last breath. Wlfy cannot heal, but pops to moving ages to avoid the damage. Zigo gets a kill, and so does maybe Deicide here. Dcypher are split up. BigManTingz get taken out. Zigo gets the double kill. And now VWS are going to go for the, they're going for
this is going to be the end of the game here. They've got 2 waves of fire minions pressing in from all sides here, save for that one standing Phoenix. There's 2 members of Dcypher here. They've got a chance to play the hero plays here, but they're Titan falling incredibly fast. Ducky needs to back out a little bit. Darzer still has plenty of damage. Ducky getting it almost taken down, but the Titan falls first there. VWS, in a dominant showing, will take game 1 of this best-of-5 series. Dcypher Esports look fairly hungry for revenge, though.
Yeah, Dcypher, unfortunately, were just on the bad end of a lot of those engagements. A lot of it came down to the raw initiation plus tankiness that VWS possessed during that entire thing. You know, Athena, Zhong, a constant pain in their side in those fights. You know, Taunt burning a lot of the beads, and then Zhong comes in with a slow that can't be beat. If you want to try and burn Zhong down, he's got the tankiness. And even when we see things like Pikachu, he deploys true damage off of his ultimate. You'd think, would that be enough? No, he picks up the Aegis Pendant. So not only can he resist that, but if he wants to, he can go for the trick of pop the Recall Demons, the bag starts exploding with demons, then pop the Aegis and just walk into the middle of a fight and secure that bulkhead. And that entire...
Go ahead, finish.
Yeah. But that entire thing, it was fairly close to the beginning. It was a little bit in VWS's favor, but around that 17, 18-minute mark, things just went downhill so quickly for them.
Well, we've possibly got 4 more games left in this series here as VWS have just taken game 1 of a best-of-5 series. So, we'll be right back as we get set up for game 2. Don't go anywhere. It's a Smite game, Challengers Cup, brought to you by Tier Monster and hi-rez Studios. We'll see you guys in a few minutes.